Good morning, everyone. Well, it seems kind of counterintuitive to talk about vacation or vacation days, not just in light of the fact that so many of us are working from home, but in light of the recent climate that we've seen around us. Whether you actually want to take a vacation, literally, or in your mind, it's something we just want to talk about here. So joining me right now from Conde Nas Traveler is Erin Florio. Good morning, Erin.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, so my first question is, are we really hitting the road this summer?
So the good news is we are hitting the road this summer, but how we're traveling and where we're traveling to is going to look a little different from years in the past. Of course, everybody's priority this year with travel is safety. And that means that we're going to see a big uptick in road trips. Road trips are relatively low risk. And what's so great about them is they allow us to go short distances, get away for a weekend, or take a short break to visit family and friends that are nearby. And it also allows us to travel a little bit farther as well and really have a totally different experience than everything we've been seeing in our hometowns, especially under lockdown. In fact, a recent survey that we did at Conde Nas Traveler showed that 42% of travelers this summer are willing to travel up to 6 hours by car to reach a new destination. And what I think is even more exciting is that nearly 1 in 4 travelers are willing to drive up to 10 hours. So if you think about all of the places that you can reach within a 10-hour radius of New York City or the tri-state area or wherever you're starting from, that opens up a whole world of really exciting vacation possibilities.
It really does. I mean, I think some of the fondest memories I have as a child is my mother and I going in her beat up Chevy into upstate New York to see the Finger Lakes. Although I think when you're traveling by car, you have to up certain things. You have to like up your snack game. You have to know which rest stop you're going to stop at. So I'm sure that's something to consider. But also to consider is lodging. Like you say, I think on top of mind for plenty of folks is safety. Where am I going to stay? If I stay, do I have to wear a mask? So what are some of the trends you're seeing with
Yeah.
where folks are actually going to stay?
Yeah, absolutely. So, not surprisingly, as the pandemic spread, we also saw a lot of cancellations and short term rental bookings get canceled. The good news is that they are on the rise again as well. And maybe not surprisingly, is one of the most searched terms is cabins. When you think about staying in a cabin, you're staying somewhere remote, you're in nature, you're away from the crowds. Pretty much exactly where we all want to be right now as we get out of lockdown and get away from our cities. Another trend we're seeing in booking accommodation, which really speaks to a larger travel trend at the moment, is spontaneity. A lot of people are traveling within the same week of actually making a booking, which shows that people are generally sticking to their local markets, their drive-in markets where you can get to with maybe a quicker turnaround in terms of planning. And it also shows that we're really paying attention to what's going on out there and we're making the right decisions for us that we feel safe with for traveling, depending on the situation that's happening in various destinations. And finally, I do just want to give a bit of a shout out to the hotel industry. They were hit very hard. They've showed a tremendous amount of responsiveness and flexibility in changing their protocols, safety protocols, cleaning protocols to make travelers feel safe. And as hotels do start to reopen during the summer, I really encourage people to consider returning to their favorite hotel as well.
I love that. I know the hotel industry has been hit hard in particular. I just want to say though, those images we just saw of cabins, that was not what I was expecting. When I was looking through the notes and the research, I was like, cabin, oh my goodness, I'm thinking of like a Girl Scout cabin. That's a high-end cabin. You take a lady to a cabin like that. So thank you for sharing that with us. The other thing is national parks as a trend. I am very open about the fact that one of my favorite parks in the whole wide world is Wave Hill in the Bronx. I don't think it's a national park, but let us not forget our national parks
Not
because
yet.
you're outside in the open. Right, right.
Well,
Tell
absolutely.
us about some national
I
parks.
mean, sure, it's not surprising that we think national parks are going to be one of the hottest destinations domestically this year. And they've been part of the domestic travel industry to open quicker than other parts. So, even just last week, a lot of our favorite parks out in Utah reopened, issuing permits so that people can enter, they can go camping. It's really not surprising considering that it's wide open, beautiful spaces, sunshine, nature, exactly what you want after being in lockdown. And a really hot tip for this summer as well that I learned that the national park Service actually shared with me is though they expect the national parks to be very popular, they do also expect overall numbers to be lower than in years in the past due to various travel restrictions, et cetera. So this means that this could be the summer where you get to national parks and you feel as though you have them a little bit more all to yourself than in years in the past, which is great.
The whole Grand Canyon to myself, me and my 2 children. I can't wait. Erin, very quickly before I let you go, if you did plan a big trip that includes staying in a hotel, what do? Do you keep those plans? Do you try to postpone it?
Sure. So this is one of the questions that's been coming up constantly throughout the pandemic is what to do if you had a really big trip planned and you might not feel comfortable taking that trip, considering the current situation. Our recommendation and our mantra at Conde Nas Traveler is postpone, do not cancel. And in fact, that's pretty much the mantra throughout the travel industry right now. If you do have a big trip planned and you haven't started those conversations with your airline, your hotel, the destination about maybe bumping the trip to dates that you feel more comfortable traveling on, I really encourage you to start. The industry has been incredibly accommodating, very, very flexible. They understand people's concerns. And, one last thing I want to mention, just to help you feel good about potentially postponing instead of cancel, is remember that, the travel industry is a huge part of the private sector economy in the United States. And if you do postpone your trip to maybe later this year or early next year, it means that you can still support the industry and the local economies in a way that's going to make you feel even more excited about your trip than just finally being able to get out there.
Erin Florio of Conde Nas Traveler, thank you so much for all those helpful tips, and I hope sometime you can visit us in the set so we can talk more travel face to face.
Thank you so much.
Of course, and of course, if you want to learn more about travel or anything else travel related, you can always go to Conde Nast Traveler's coverage on their website.